Yes, 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 yes. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Lion's Den with Seth. You got me up in this building, then you got some woodland creature with this. What's going on with the beard, bro? What's going on with
Hold on, man. Put me backstage real quick.
it? You got to brush it out, okay?
Yeah.
Yo, so look, anyway, everybody, want to welcome y'all here. So if this is your first time, we focus on all things leadership, growth, and development with a call to action from the household out into the community. So hopefully everything is good with you. Everything is good with your friends and family. And so we're going to talk about some real good stuff today. And it is expectation management. Wow. What does that look like to you? Think about it. You got two words, expectations and then management. How do you manage your own expectations? Some people don't know how to do that. You know what I'm talking about? So what you think about this topic, bro?
I think it's an interesting topic about expectations management. And I think everybody, I'm going to put it in a simple term that a lot of people should be able to understand, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you are setting something up that you love for failure. I'm going to give you an example.
Go ahead.
In-N-Out Burger, right? In-N-Out Burger. Anybody that's not from the West Coast, or you know what I'm saying, or haven't experienced In-N-Out Burger, they hear about In-N-Out Burger before they ever try it.
Okay.
And people are such big fans, they speak so highly of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
That you like, man, this burger about to blow me away. Mind you, it's just a fast food sandwich, right?
Okay.
But the way it gets spoken about is like lore, like, man, you haven't had In-N-Out? You haven't had In-N-Out? And then you taste it, it's like, this ain't that much better than McDonald's. If at all, because it's still a $7.99 burger, if that.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But you set that bar so high for it for a person before he even tries it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That when they taste it, it's just regular to them. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get that. Well, look, let's talk about this though. And ladies and gentlemen, hopefully you this is the spot that you want to be in for some real talk, and hit the share button. We appreciate this, right? So we can get the word out here and what we're talking about as far as expectation management. So how about this? What are some common unrealistic expectations people place on themselves, and how can we, recognize them to adjust them? What you think about that? Like how can we start to adjust those unrealistic expectations? What you think about that?
Well, first we got to define how it's unrealistic. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you think about it, right? Let's say you have an expectation for someone to, let's say, act a specific way. Okay. And let's say you have a track record or timeline of time after time after time they don't do what you think they should do. All right, they've kind of already showed you how they are. You know, that old adage, you know, if a person tell you who they are, believe them. If they show you who you are, believe them. So how can an individual adjust their expectations after seeing that their expectations wasn't met?
I got to understand that if the expectation is on my part, then that's my fault.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? If I'm expecting something out of them,
mm-hmm.
then that's my fault to begin with. You know what I mean? If it's an unrealistic expectation. Mm-hmm. Now, if it's somebody's own expectation for themselves, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I say, oh, you know, that might not be realistic for them. I can see how that's going to hurt them down the road. Mm-hmm. All I can do is offer my advice to try to help them make that goal more attainable, no matter mm-hmm. what it is, right? Mm-hmm. But if they don't accept it, you know what I mean? That's cool, because that's still their journey and they lesson to learn for themselves.
All right. So now what about you? Like, how do you deal with recognizing that your expectations won't be met? Like, for example, myself, see, you see what I'm saying? So that's what we're having this conversation about. We're looking at, we're not just talking to the audience, we're talking to ourselves and with each other, right? Like, for example, it's a hard pill to swallow when it's like, damn, you like, really? Like, you can have the best idea, right, as far as something to happen, and you can have, it's almost like Outkast song. What is it? You can plan a pretty picnic, but you can't predict the weather.
Yeah.
Correct, right? So when your expectations aren't met, ladies and gentlemen, how do you even deal with that, first of all, and then you adjust them? So myself, man, I have to take a step back, you know what I mean, and not blame individuals for not being what I thought. Oh, there it is. Not being what I thought they should be. Think about it, because realistically, it's my perception that's not being made. No one didn't promise me, right? Majority of the time, no one said, hey, I'm going to do this for you. I may have set up my own expectations, right? For a person, and they're like, wait, you did that yourself. I didn't do that to me. So I have to take accountability. It's hard. I have to take accountability to say, wait, I put this person in a box that they didn't even ask to be put in. And what about you?
I agree with you 100%. You know, it goes back to that being my fault. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if I have expectation out of somebody for whatever reason and it wasn't met, I mean, who am I to put the expectation on that person? You know what I mean? That's that, you know, they let me down, but did they really, you know what I mean? Like they,
right.
You know, they didn't even know that it was, you know, but now if it's like my own expectation of myself,
right,
that I'm not meeting, like as I'm rubbing on this rotund stomach over here.
Yeah. Now don't forget about that goal. Don't forget about that goal, ladies and gentlemen. Listen, look, hey, this is not said. Yeah. What? It was, well, you're supposed to be 50 pounds down by
50 pounds down by the end of July.
The end of July. How are we looking?
I'm 10 pounds up, but hey. I'm coming, man. Hey, this is my.
It's on the way. Well, look. Check this out. This kind of brings me to the next question. So, how do you balance setting high standards for yourself without becoming overwhelmed or even discouraged? Right. I mean, you think about it, right? We're going into March. How many people had those New Year's resolutions to lose 11 pounds and end up gaining 10?
That's a tough one, and that's where your resiliency got to kick in. You know what I mean? That's when you got to fully understand what failure means, right? It just means another opportunity to get it right, you know? So those are things, you got to think of these contingencies before you even enter into that contract with yourself, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, if this doesn't happen for me, what does that mean?
That's right.
So that way, when it happens, it's not if it happens, it's not a full surprise, you know what I mean? And you've already planned for it. I know that you got that adage called burn the boats. This one plan is the only plan. I get that too, you know what I mean? That mindset. But for some things where, you know, you got a lot riding on something, you gotta be mentally prepared for it if it's disappointment at the end of the road.
No, absolutely right, man. And so I've been reading this book. I can't even think of it off the top, but what it communicates is, instead of setting goals, you creating systems, right? Create a system, something that you can continuously do, so that if that goal, quote unquote, isn't met the way that you thought it should happen, at least you've created a new standard or a habit. You get what I mean? That can help you along the way, because essentially it's the journey, it's not the destination. And sometimes we can get so discouraged because we had our sights set on, you know, hitting this goal at a specific time, and when it doesn't happen, we become discouraged instead of having a set system or strategy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, they always say that you should build a system in place,
right?
One that'll work even if you're not part of it, you know. But here's my question though.
Yeah.
How do you take it when there's reverse, and maybe you let down somebody, you know what I'm saying, that they had you didn't know that they had a standard for you. You know what I mean? Like how should we see that?
Give me an example.
Like, all right. For example, you know, you expected this person is your friend, right? You know what I mean? This person is your friend, but on the sneak, you found out they was talking behind your back about some BS, gossiping about you.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And then coming back to you, you know what I mean? Like nothing ever happened. But your expectation of them is, man, this is one of my solid guys, you know what I mean?
Right.
Blase blah. or I don't know if that example made sense. I said it.
Yeah, but you're so stupid. No, I get it. All right, so check it out. Of course, it makes sense because you said it. Well, you know what, man? It's crazy, man. I believe now at this age, man, we're all flawed, right? We're all flawed creatures, and so I really try to practice grace now at this age, because individuals will tell you whatever they think you want to hear, but it's always time that shows. And what I look at is the effort. You get what I mean throughout that. And then I see, okay, if this person was here for me in this situation, but then now I'm hearing something different before I pop off, so to speak, I would approach them, and, try to understand it now, right? Try to understand, like, where did this come from? Well, first of all, was it even true? Right? Because sometimes individuals, try to make big things out of nothing just because they maybe team you and they bring it to you. Right. And so, yeah, it's hard, especially if, this is like your ace, right. You find out they're talking crazy. But I try to give the benefit of the doubt and approach them as a man. And if it's man to man or man to woman, you know what I'm talking about. But what about you?
If I was that, the example I gave you really didn't, because it's supposed to be about if I let down somebody and their expectations of me.
Okay, so if I let someone down, man, you know what?
Like, you didn't know that you had that expectation. Yeah.
You know what? I mean, shoot, it kind of the same way, but I would still approach it, in reverse and say, hey, first of all, I would apologize by not knowing, okay, and not becoming defensive, because sometimes if I falter and don't know about it, how can essentially what I can't apologize for what I didn't know. I can apologize for us not either having a conversation, you know what I mean, so that it's clear. Yo, well, look, I'm sorry we didn't, I'm sorry that you thought that way. You get what I mean? But include me in this conversation, right? So you can see how I can maneuver or how I can better serve you, if that makes sense. But what you think about that?
Man, the first time I really feel like I ran into something like that, based on my recollections, right? I was 14 at the skating rink.
Okay.
And got into a little scuffle with some kids. Mm-hmm. And in my town, they always had cops inside the skating ring at nighttime.
Okay.
On team nights.
Okay.
We had these 2 black cops. And I talked to them every time I was in there.
Okay.
So when that scuffle happened, right, the cop grabbed me up and said, I'm really disappointed in you. You really let me down with this. And that hurt me deep. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't know, that he had an expectation of me at all. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because I'm just a knucklehead like everybody else.
Wow.
You know what I mean? But he looked at me directly. It's like,
out of all of these nuts.
Yeah, like, you really let me down with this. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm disappointed in you. So I think for me, it just depends on where it's coming from, who it is, and why they said it to me. You know what I mean? Because for some reason, this cop thought I was a better person than everything else. You know what I mean? And so I just ruined his image of me. Now, is it my fault that my image of, I think what the part that gets to me is that, not that it wasn't my fault that his image was me that was that high, was
you just didn't know.
No, why can't I be that high? He sees me that way. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I think it just depends on where it's coming from and why.
I think so, man. I like that. That's a real good perspective. I really do like that. And ladies and gentlemen, please chime in. What you think about that? What do you think about not meeting someone's expectations, or they let you know, hey, I saw you in this different light, And as a matter of fact, man, that kind of changed my trajectory when I was in Detroit before I came to the military. You know what I mean? I had someone, really pull me to the side, and say, kind of spoke life into me. But They let me know that, hey, look, you keep doing this. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, look at everybody that you around. Like, What do you think they're about to do? You're looking like you're going in that same direction. No, that makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. So how about this? Because we're kind of hitting on this, but more focus. What role does communication play in managing expectations?
Man.
Hey, within your household, and what are some strategies, that we can learn? You got me real talk to ensure clarity, because I think that's one of the main things, man. It's like, why would you think? What do you think about that?
So managing expectations in the household, communication is going to be very important.
Yeah.
Because it's hard for me, for a person like me, to read somebody's mind of what they might be thinking that they want from me in that moment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I could be thinking totally one way, and then you thinking a totally different way. It doesn't mean that I'm disregarding you. I'm just not on the same wavelength you are at that moment.
No, you're supposed to be in sync. You know that, right? You're supposed to.
When they make my name Justin Timberlake, I guess I would be in sync.
That's it. Oh, wow. But hold on, where's that? No. Where is that?
What? What?
In sync, bro. I'm gonna have to change that. I need a womp womp. That's what I need. But no, I get it. No, you're right. Because it happens, right? It happens in not just in the household, but it happens with friends, right? Because just because we're cool and we rock together, but we could be on two different pages. And so I think it's truly, truly important to have those transparent conversations without judgment, meaning, hey, I'm going this way. I thought you was coming this way. No, well, shit, we didn't talk about it. But I'll catch up with you. You get what I mean? Like, no love lost. You dig what I'm saying?
There's never no. It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be just because we're going two different, to put this in the vision. Back when I was riding motorcycles, right? I rode with guys that was extremely fast on their bikes.
Okay.
And me, I'm not that guy. I didn't have the ability, the skill level, or the courage to do what they was doing.
Okay.
And I would tell them, man, y'all ride your own ride. We'll all get there. We'll all get there and see each other at the end. You know what I mean? It's the same thing. I'm not comfortable going the route that you're going, but that doesn't mean it's not for you.
Right.
It's just not for me.
That's right.
But the love is still there. When we get there at the end, it's all good. And
watch this. I'm gonna see you. I'm gonna meet you. It's okay. You know what I mean? We're still gonna get it in. And I think that when individuals' expectations aren't met for them, they could take that personal to the point where they feel as though it's a disregard or it's an attack to their character.
Yes. Yeah. It can get like that. You know what I mean? Because again, I may not be meaning no disrespect.
Right.
It's just that wasn't on my mind at the time.
Hey, God forbid you have other shit to think about.
You know
what I'm saying? Like, you got other things.
And it doesn't mean that I believe less than you. Like, your day wasn't just as stressful as mine.
Correct.
It don't mean that either. It just means that we are disconnected right here. Nothing, some communication, I'm saying, either before or during can't fix.
That's right.
But if the conversation is going to be after, then it's more like an argument.
That's right. That's right. I mean? And you know what? You're right, because it's an argument, and the argument is accusatory. Like, you did this on purpose to mess with me. You get what I mean? You shouldn't have did that. Like, hold on, I don't even know what you're talking about. and so, that's crazy. And then when the conversation is skewed because an individual can say, I feel as though you should have known that. Think about it. Think about it, man. Look, we've been friends. I don't know how long now, man. We're getting old. But there's some things I can say you don't know. Like, if I went one way, you'll just say, you know what? That's him. I see what it's going to make sense because it makes sense to him. because we've had this conversation before. I could do something that could be so off the wall, and you're like, all right, got it. It's gonna make sense eventually. You
Right.
get what I'm saying? And so I think that's where the grace comes in versus, wait, you weren't supposed to do that. We was, you know what I mean? Then that's where the conflict in. And so I believe that when it comes back down, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about expectation management. Expectation to manage expectations with other people. The key word, I believe, is grace. It's truly about grace. Because who do you think you are to expect somebody to do what you think or feel they should do? I mean, think about like saying it that slow. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's low key control.
Because,
you get what I mean?
Especially when you don't think that way.
Yo, it's like how you putting expectations on me. I don't even have.
Yeah, like
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, when you don't think that way, it make it even harder. Like it's like, okay,
yeah,
you want me to know A, B, C, and D,
right? You see what I'm saying? I understand. Look, ladies and gentlemen, this is real. This is real, and it can go in any. I mean, you can conceptualize this anywhere in your life, right? But it's a way to practice self-care, right? This is a mental health type of thing because you can, no kidding, go cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs because your expectations are truly realistic to the other person, especially if they're not on that page. And so you can really, run yourself ragged trying to do that stuff. So can unmet expectations at work, at home, or wherever create long-term challenges for relationships and working relationships, or no matter what? And if so, how can they be addressed early on? What do y'all think about that?
Yeah, I mean, of course, anything unmet is going to be a problem down the line.
Correct.
You know what I mean? Unmet expectation, unmet goal, unmet whatever. Anything unmet means you didn't attain it. You know what I mean? Like this is something that was supposed to be met and you never met it.
That's right. But how can they? How can things be combated in the future? Because like we may miss something, but then the follow-on question is, hey, whatever didn't happen in this situation, we're probably going to cross this road again. So this is how we should do this. Let's have a conversation. You hear me and I hear you. And then in the meantime, while we're doing this, I need to understand what your words mean to you.
Right. So I don't know what other people do, but in my house, I adopted the Air Force military feedback system.
Jesus.
You know what I mean? So there's
categories,
you know what I'm saying, that I have her in, you know what I mean? So and so it starts after you get the initial feedback, like, hey, these are the expectations, right?
Okay.
These are these expectations.
Now she signed it, right? So
she signed, brief her, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. She do the salute and you know what I'm saying, about face out the bedroom door. That's how we do it, you know what I mean?
Oh my God, ladies and gentlemen. Go ahead.
6 months later. The midterm.
I knew somebody was gonna say something. Look, there she go. Okay. Boy, I was like, yo, I know Sharita, hear this fool talking crazy. Hey, Sharita, he said he treats you like an airman. Okay, now listen, you understand what wow. I'm glad this is live, damn it. Yeah. Now go ahead. Now say it again.
6 months in, right? You know what I mean? Graded 1 through 5. You know, 1 through 5. Yeah. Unacceptable is 1.
Okay, yeah.
Unmet. Yeah.
Unmet expectations. Yeah.
5 is above expectations, right?
That's
you know what I'm saying? All 5 categories, that you need.
That's right.
And then that's your midterm feedback. You had your initial and your midterm. You gotta do all your friendships and everything the same way. Right. And then so at the end, you get the last eval, like, hey, look, I told you about this at the midterm feedback. You didn't turn it around. So this is why you're getting a 2.
Jesus. Now you sounding stupid. Because I know you don't. But here's the thing, like this is what I do. This is what I, and I think this is effective, man. I found this where I forget where. But anyway, the 3-2-1 approach. You ever heard of that?
No.
All right, 3-2-1. Name 3 things that's working good. Okay, within a relationship. 2 things that can be worked on. Thing that needs to stop. No kid. Okay.
Okay. 3 things.
Yep.
3 things that are working good.
Yep. 3 things that's good.
2 things that need to be worked on. And 1 thing needs to absolutely stop.
That's right.
Now, is this a list that people come up with together, or we each individually got our own?
Yeah. No, you do this together. You get what I'm saying? So like you may have your 3-2-1, and then they have their 3-2-1. And cool. Then hopefully the 3, that's good, right? And sometimes that 3 equals 6 things. You get what I'm saying? So 3 to 6, because there may be 3 things that you have that are outstanding, and 3 things that she may have that are outstanding. That's not your 3. Like, oh, well, shit. So we getting it in. But the thing is to listen to that last one, because that means out of all the great things and some things that can shift, this ain't popping. All right. So I believe that the goal is to have transparent communication without judging. Okay. Because your expectations is based off of your vision. So this is what I see. So I'm celebrating these 3 things, 2 things I think that we can improve in. And as a matter of fact, 2 things I may be able to improve in. You see what I'm saying? But this one thing, either we need to stop doing, I need to stop doing, or something you're doing that you may not even know. But this is the open conversation to kind of stop that joint.
That's an interesting, okay.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because if you think about it, you're not hammering somebody like, yo, you suck at this, you suck at that, blah, 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 blah. But if you think about it, some of those things are like that one thing can be small, but if it's not checked, and not in a negative way, but if it's not brought to the, forefront, you just keep putting it, under the rug and thinking you clean the house. You know what I mean? You think you could do that? It's better than EPR?
Yeah, man.
But feedback 4. All right. So now how's this though? Now we're going to transition, ladies and gentlemen. We're talking about expectation management. So when it comes to our community, all right, how can individuals set achievable expectations? Right? Yeah, right. That aligns with this is the word, their capacity to contribute. And I don't mean on Facebook. I don't mean on, you dig what I'm saying? Like, how can we in our community? You know what I'm
saying? You asking me this?
Yeah, what you think? Yeah. Go ahead. Say what you think.
As a community,
what
first needs to be understood is to come up with a list of priorities that needs to be addressed, but challenge ourselves not to mention the government.
Okay.
Either good or bad. This is about accountability. Okay, what can we control? You know what I mean? So after that happens, you start developing teams. If it's your own community, and all communities do this, you start developing teams to start addressing these priorities that they came up with.
All right.
And hopefully you see change.
You know what? I think that, I can agree. For the most part. It's just not easy, right? Because individuals have different levels of, well, I wouldn't say different levels, but different priorities.
Yeah.
Of what the community should do. But the unfortunate part is that if it's not communicated in the right way, they would exclude themselves from the actual change that the community needs, right? And then it becomes, this is what y'all should do, instead of this is what we should do, and this is how I can contribute.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So the question is, why do you think that's the case? Why do you think it's easier for people to say what individuals should do versus what they can do?
Because it's always easier to point out. You know what I mean? And require, because everybody's a chief.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So they got the answer, and they point out to everybody else what to do.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and
that's horrible.
And somehow we got to get real leaders in the forefront. That's something that hasn't happened, you know, in a long time.
So, how would you define a leader for you? Not the text.
Yeah.
How would you?
No, I'm about to define them. You know what I'm saying? A leader for me is a person like Malcolm X, MLK. You know what I mean? People of those ilk that can galvanize folks based on their ideas. You know what I mean? And those are just the American ones that I know. You know, that's what a leader is. You know,
I believe that I agree, and I wonder what is that DNA like today. You get what I mean? Like, because we have, even though we have technology, so many things has changed, but so many things still have stayed the same. And so, by the molecular structure of humans, we haven't changed that much. So my question is, and maybe it's just a rhetorical question, but how do we really get back to the space where there are leaders that are supportable? You get what I'm saying? Because you have individuals that pop their head up, try to get it in for the collective, and due to the hive mind, you know, you can do certain things, but don't get too high or mighty, because therefore the rest of the group is going to put you back in line. You get what I'm saying? Because it can stem some level of insecurity. It can stem some level of, you know, who does this person think they are? You know what I mean? When they're when they're trying to galvanize, all right? Yeah. Nobody had the plan together. You know, everybody, you know what I'm saying? So what do you think that DNA looks like?
I think that DNA looks like having a real struggle. Let me explain this real quick. In the days of MLK, in the days of Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcolm X, I'm sorry. The struggle was real and out there in the streets. You know what I mean? Our struggle now is over social media and, you know what I'm saying, or over Twitter, over Facebook posts. You know, it's not the same. You're looking for leaders on who has the most likes. You know what I mean? Those leaders back in the day was getting bricks upside their head. You know, so that's respectable. Those are people that, you know, that you want to allow to lead you. And then also, we don't know all the secrets of those people that we know today. If one person even tries to lead, they a Twitter post away from being exposed for something they did in the past.
And being canceled.
So, you know, I think that you need like a real struggle. And we don't have that today.
So you don't think that there's a real struggle going on today?
No, I don't. What's the struggle?
Shit. Well, to me, I believe that the struggle is the same. It just changed uniforms, if you will, and I think it changed mediums. You get what I mean? I believe that things are being, you know, more, it's highlighted now, and some people care, some people don't, right? But I believe based off of levels of proximity will determine what the struggle looks like, you know, to different individuals. You know, there's different levels of what you call it, repression. You get what I mean? Some that is known, some that is seen, and some that's not, but it's still there. You get what I mean? It could be placed in a passive aggressive manner or microaggressions. but it's still a struggle. You get what I mean? And I believe that the struggle may not be the same as it once was, that was considered march worthy, but there's still individuals, I believe, that is dealing with a level of either a constant discrimination, like women are still struggling, right, in different aspects of their lives. Men of color, women of color, you get what I mean? There's still a struggle. You get what I mean? It's still, I don't think that it's easy sailing. You get what I'm saying? For everybody, you know what I'm saying? I just don't think that it's like the same as it once was in the, you know, prior to the 60s, or even, you know, the civil rights movements with the dogs barking and biting your ass. But I believe it's still there. You dig what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, but going back to the leader aspect, I believe that that a leader that can help, you know, understand and kind of, like you said, galvanize individuals, have to be a contemporary leader. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't see individuals in our generation corralling around Jesse Jackson, or, you know what I'm saying, Al Sharpton, and saying, come on, let's go.
Umar.
You get what I'm saying? So, yeah.
It's just hard to identify that. And without true leadership, you get what you got.
What you think? People, you think that we'll just perish without it?
No, I mean, we'll just continue with the downward slope that we're going right now.
Yeah, I can see that. And look, ladies and gentlemen, too, if you're just tuning in, we're talking about expectation management, okay, from within yourself, other people, in your household, even out in the community. And we're not getting into the politics for real, because that you know, we'll get banned probably. You know, who knows? But really, it's about setting yourself up. And for those of you that are interested, we'll have a different conversation, one-on-one in the Patreon. All those Patreon subscribers and supporters, we appreciate you. We do appreciate you. And but just more in depth a conversation as far as managing your expectations, you know, in the workplace, and especially for your business. But here's another question. And the link would be in the description. But here's another question. So how can setting healthy expectations, right, improve mental health and emotional well-being across these areas of life? So everything that we're talking about right now. And then when you think about it, healthy expectations is like really setting clear goals, but also boundaries. Think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Think about it. You see what I'm saying? Because if you have a conversation with an individual and you are transparent enough to say, hey, this is this is my vision of this relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. By communicating my vision, I'm setting boundaries up. Like if I say these are my left and rights, and you understand what my left and rights are, and if you get out of line, that means that's consequences. You get what I'm saying? But you said that you understood it. So when you gave me the either verbal confirmation, nonverbal confirmation, or you were able to articulate it in your own words, you're saying, okay, I get that. I respect that.
Right.
You feel me? But if you don't, now you're showing me. Now, don't get me wrong. There are times when people make mistakes, right? Mistakes happen. But if you're a habitual line stepper and you just out of line, now you're showing me that you really didn't care about my, you know what I mean? The expectations for the relationship. So what do you think about that? Is that realistic expectations after communicating?
Yeah, I believe so. You know, it's just now it's going to be on you when those expectations weren't met, on how you respond to that. You know what I mean? So that could be positive or not. You know what I mean? Like,
so how do you respond? How do you respond after you have a conversation with someone and you explain to them let's just say, just who you are, all right, and what things you can dig and things you can't dig. And when a person do something that you can't dig, what you do? Like, you pop off? Or
It
what?
depends. It depends on the situation where we at and all that stuff. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? But if it's something that if I expressed like would deeply meant something to me, yeah, I couldn't fool with him after that
Mm.
because I exposed level of vulnerability. Like, hey, these things right here,
Yeah.
and you took it upon yourself to be like,
Disregarded.
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
gonna step all over that.
Mm.
So
Mm.
for me, like if you're willing to do that to prove a point, how far will you go?
Oh. And then so essentially, if you don't say anything, now you're really going to be subjecting yourself to either more hurt.
Yeah, yeah. You just said it's okay.
Mm. All right. So look, let's think about what type of advice can we give folks? What type of advice could you give our audience, or that we can give our audience, as far as, someone that constantly feels like they're disappointed because their expectations, whether personal or external, wasn't met.
It's like I said before, you got to have a contingency plan for all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And understand that, you might be let down. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you're not always going to satisfy everyone.
That's right.
Somebody's going to be unhappy in certain deals or whatnot. So while you met their expectations, these people's expectations weren't met.
Mm-hmm.
I can't hold myself responsible for how everybody feels every time they were let down about something.
That's right. Yeah.
So I suggest people to take on that same thing. Like, if you're going to expect something out of somebody and you got let down, I say go ahead and take responsibility for even expecting that in the first place.
Mm.
That way you can get over it.
That way, that easy.
Yeah.
That easy. You know what? I think that I agree to a degree. Man, it's just so much. I think I'm gonna go back to what I said earlier, right? Understanding that people are flawed. People are flawed, and man, grace is a huge thing. Compassion is a real thing. It's not easy. My goodness, it's not easy. Like, I mean, for example, even something that's small, me expecting my daughter to do something, even when she looked me dead in my face and said, "Yep, I got it. I'm gonna take care of it."
I ain't got it.
Bro, hey, look, ain't never had it. Look, didn't even, you know what I'm saying? She wasn't even close to having it. But I have to remember, okay, you know what? I'm expecting this 13-year-old to kind of get it. However, since and I think this is the other piece too. We put people on pedestals. Okay? We put people on pedestals, and then when they kind of slip off of it, we're the hurt ones because we expected them to live up to the expectations that we set. Right. So here I am, got a 13-year-old expecting her to be the genius that I believe she is. She never said, "Hey, Daddy, guess what? I'm a genius." You get what I'm saying? She said, "Hey, guess what? Look, I'm getting this." You know what I mean? Yeah. Like she's not. She doesn't even, subscribe to that. So why am I placing that? So I would say some advice. One advice that I would give for someone is just bring them to reality, to the point where we'll see them as you see yourself. Okay, see people as you see yourself, so you're not hurt. You know what I mean? Because other than that, you're going to get your feelings hurt and be mad. Well, I thought that you should. Well, I felt as though you should do this. Well, I feel as though why? That's on you.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how often you see this, though, bro?
How often do I see what?
People getting in their feelings when their expectations aren't met. Constantly.
All the time.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Boy, because all you got to do is log on to Facebook and see how people are feeling about certain things,
Yeah.
People live for the letdown.
Wait, you say they live for the letdown? What does that mean?
If you constantly find yourself in the same position, right?
Okay.
Whether it's fired from a job all the time, getting broke up with all the time, somebody always cheating on you, something always happening to you, right? And you ain't changing nothing, like you just living for the letdown. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just saying.
You just living for it.
Yeah, like, hey man, I know she gonna cheat again. I'm gonna be right here. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, so yeah, so those folks they living for the letdown.
Goodness gracious, man. That's horrible. All right, so we still got some couple of minutes and we got individuals on. I want y'all to chime in. I got a question for y'all. So how important is it to involve other people? Meaning your family, your friends, community leaders in reshaping and balancing expectations. I want y'all to chime in. Like, how important is it? Because sometimes your expectations are just in your head. You see what I'm saying? So, like, I really do believe when you do, well, first of all, when your expectations are clear, okay, even though they can be clear and they should be flexible, right? They shouldn't be rigid. Individuals can help you. All right. They can actually help to formulate your expectations so that they are met. Right. But I believe that your expectations, to a degree, not just to a degree, highly, they should be clear enough so that you can communicate it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, not everybody's going to meet them. Let's be clear. But how do you think it's important to include individuals in it? Because check this out, Herm. Sometimes we can have those expectations in our head and we're having the same conversations over and over about people, but they're not included. And then when things fall apart, you mad at them because they weren't in your head.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's like being mad at me because I played the bad guy in your dreams.
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't know nothing about that.
Right. She said that part. What's going on, Miss Valerie? She says that part. But expect the unexpected. She says people are unpredictable. Absolutely right.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, you're right. It's like, yo, you had a bad dream about. Yeah, it's like waking up from it. You know what you did? Like, what you talking about?
Drooled a couple times. Like, what you talking about? You know what I mean?
Bruh, isn't that silly though?
Yeah. So if you got expectation of me, please communicate it with me, and I will let you know if, hey, I'll do anything but love, but I won't do that. Or, you got it. You know what I mean?
So did you have to include some level of meatloaf in that? You hungry, bro?
Yeah, man.
Is that what it is? You'll do anything. Hey, but I mean, no, but seriously though, all jokes aside, I think that is true. But you know what? I think? I really do think individuals don't communicate their expectations, no matter how high or low, because they don't want them to be unmet. You get what I'm saying? You think it's a protective mechanism?
Or they want to get mad. You know what I mean?
They want to get mad.
They just need a reason to pop off. So you know what? I'm not going to say no. I'm going to just sit here
and watch it happen.
Sizzle like sizzling and not communicate nothing, and then
and watch you fall in their eyes.
And I'm falling. You know what I mean?
Yo, why does that make so much sense?
Because it happens
all the time. Think about how many times people watch you doing something wrong. Look, okay, so what's going on, Shonda? She says the fear of their expectations not being accepted. There you go. There it is. So I'm not going to communicate my expectations because I don't think you're going to meet them. Oh, no. I don't know if you're going to meet it or not, but everybody else be back here, they didn't. So I'm going to categorize you in that, right? Because all men are the same. All women are the same.
Well, I think she's saying that she might have an expectation and dude be like, nah, I'm good. I'm not accepting that.
That too.
You know what I mean? Like,
is that what you're saying, Sean? Because that might be true. So, or like we were saying earlier. So if you're clear about them, you may hear the truth. Okay, got it. However, the way my finances are set up, you get what I'm saying? Like I can't flip that bill. You know, now I can get you half a take once a month.
Yeah, with Chico stick.
With Chico stick, right? There's annihilators.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? What's the good flavor annihilators? Thriller. Yeah, you probably don't remember Thriller.
So you better not say watermelon on Black History Month, man.
No, hey, hold on. Didn't we have this conversation before? Well, no, that was for Juneteenth, wasn't it? Oh my God, that was so horrible. Okay, here it is. Look, fun fact. All right, who was the first woman to be inducted? This is Black History Month. Inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Tina Turner.
All right, now. So you got Etta James, all right, Diana Ross, Aretha Franklin, or Patti LaBelle.
Diana Ross.
No, Aretha Franklin, bro.
Really?
Yep. Hey, so look, this is what Shonda says. She says all of it. Whomever is being put to being put to may not be in the level of getting accepted. Okay. Well, yeah, no, it makes sense. It makes sense. I get it. I mean, but you know, expectations is relevant. As what is it called? It's not relevant, but it's relative. You know what I'm saying? Because you may have an expectation that is just unobtainable. But hold on, this is last point. Have you ever had an expectation for someone, but you didn't have the same expectation for yourself?
I know I have.
I mean, think about it.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like we expect people to do A, B, C, and D, but we won't even do A for us or for them.
There's definitely double standards when it comes to you know, certain things. Like, hey, what? You what? No.
Like what? Like what?
I can't even do all that. You know what I mean?
You can't do it. You can't do it. Like what? I mean, this ain't back in the day. What happened? It was back in band camp.
Huh? No.
Look, see? Yeah. I mean, think about it, ladies and gentlemen. Like, it's so easy to talk about what other people haven't done for us, right? But have we been in that same situation when we didn't, you know, come up to the plate? But we expecting them to do all that, but we won't. You know what I'm saying? Ain't that out of line? So look, y'all, this we gonna work on this week. Yo, this look, why I gotta work so hard, damn it. See? You know what, this might have to be a part 2. I don't know how we're gonna put it together, but I think we need some more traction with this, right? But this week, let's really work on our expectations, not just, you know, for other individuals at home or even at work, but even our own. Like let's be real with ourselves. Are you really being the best version of yourself to the same level that you expecting somebody to be for you? What you thinking?
If I go to bed without eating 2 peanut butter jelly sandwiches, then I know I'm being the best me for myself.
All right. Good night, ladies and gentlemen. Look, we're gonna see y'all. We're gonna see y'all again next week because this fool is hungry. We're gonna let him go and take care of that. But anyway, hopefully y'all enjoyed this. Don't forget, follow us, right? Hit that share button, and we're gonna see y'all on the flip flop. Right on. Later.